Hey guys, it's Miss Finland. I really miss you guys, but I decided to send y'all a picture of my two legs so y'all know I'm not faking it and just not coming to school anymore. Anyways, I am going to take this time to show y'all some examples of some genetics problems. I'll try and do like 2 examples of each kind to help y'all out. Remember, y'all can send me messages on Facebook or y'all can email me if y'all are having problems. If y'all are worried about the AP test, I'm going to start studying on your own. Y'all have those AP test workbooks that I gave y'all earlier in the year, so y'all can use those to study. And I'm pretty sure that the principal ordered all the new edition. I'm not sure when it's going to get in, but it should be coming sometime soon. So start studying on your own if you want to pass that AP test. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a basic Mendelian genetics problem. So as you can see, I wrote that albino is recessive, and I put a little a, and normal is going to be a big A. So I have the mom, and she's heterozygous, which means that she has one big A and one little a. And the dad is homozygous dominant, which means that he has 2 big A's. And all you do is fill in the Punnett square. So I could say that 50% of their children are going to be big A, or they're going to be normal. And the other 50% are going to be big A, little a, which is heterozygous, but they will also be normal. So if I asked you what percent do these 2 parents have of having an albino child, you would tell me 0. What percent of them having a normal child, you would say they have 100% of having a normal child. But if I asked you specifically for genotype, which is the letters, if I said specifically what's their chances of having big A, you would say 50%. Or what's the chances of having big A, little a, that would be 50%. Both of those classify as normal, so when I'm talking about their phenotype, what they would look like, you group them together. So I would say it's 100% chance that they would look normal. Okay, this next problem is another basic Mendelian genetics problem. So I'm going to use pea plants. So dominant would be a yellow pea plant, and recessive would be a green pea plant. Make sure whenever you're doing this that you use the same letter. I can't use a G right here for green. That would be wrong. I need to make sure that whatever I do, I use the same letter. One has to be a capital letter and one has to be a lowercase letter. So as you can see, I have the mom pea plant. She has a big Y, little y, which means that she's heterozygous. And the dad is a big Y, little y, which means he's heterozygous also. So I'm going to put the mom there and the dad there. Okay. So if I asked you what the possible genotypes would be, you would tell me you could have big Y, you could have big Y, and you could have little y, little y. If I asked you what the possible phenotypes would be, you could tell me you could have yellow or green. Okay, so if I'm asking you for percentages of these things, a percentage of having big Y would be 25%. The percentage of having a big Y, little y would be 50%. The percentage of having little y would be 25%. So that would be a ratio of 1 to 2 to 1 for genotypes. Now if I'm looking at my Punnett square and I'm talking about phenotypes, I'd say all of these are going to be yellow, so that's 75%. And my greens are only going to be 25%, so that's a ratio of 3 to 1 for my phenotypes. Okay, I need to talk to you guys for a second about how to do these ratios. So I just gave you an example of a Punnett square over to the left, and both parents are going to be homozygous dominant. So they have big Y for both of them. So all of their kids are going to be big Y. So if I'm looking at genotype, I would say that they could be big Y, which is what I see over in the Punnett square. But you also have to remember that a big Y, little y is an option, and a little y is an option too. You just don't see them in this particular Punnett square. But just because I don't see them, that doesn't mean that I can forget about them. I have to write them down. So when I'm doing the ratio, I would have to say the ratio is 4 to 0 to 0. Those zeros are really, really important. You can't just forget about them. I can't just say that my genotype has a ratio of 4. That is not a ratio at all. That's just one solid number. So that's not going to work out. I have to say 4 to 0 to 0. If you forget those zeros, your answer's wrong. So make sure you put them. So the same thing goes for phenotypes. All of those are going to be yellow, which I agree with. But you could also have some that are green. You just don't see any in this particular Punnett square. So I would say I have my 4 yellows and 0 greens. So it would be a ratio of 4 to 0.